Hey everybody, it's Red from Out of Red's Head. I hope you are well and happy today. I've got a quick project for you. It's something that you can do with sentimental or just a collection of napkins. Maybe you see some in the store you like, or like me, you collect napkins that are kind of, you've got them left over. Tea with my sister and, dinner with my mom or, um, various different things. I've got my birthday party, different things like that. So I end up with these leftover napkins, and it's a special occasion. I might want to remember it. And a good way to do that is to make a Christmas ornament. And it's something you can share with other people. This is a quick project. It is something you could even do with the kids if you wanted to. So let's get started. This is a finished ornament that I've done. Little bird, make sure I'm in frame here, and there's some mushrooms. And what you need to do is get your napkin. So I have a napkin right here. It's one of the birds. And if you open it up, you've got the squares. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. But you have, the 4 squares with the picture here. Some of them are printed also over the fold. So you might run into that where the pattern kind of continues. And if you want to choose a specific pattern, don't cut it into fourths. Obviously you want to pick where you're going. But for this one, it is in, 4 separate parts of the exact same print. So I'm going to work with that. In order to do this, you're going to need to separate the layers, and usually on napkins, and it'll say on the packaging, but generally there are 3 layers, and the first layer is easier to get off. This one is going to be really attached to the front layer where the picture is, so you may have to work at that a little bit. Sometimes you don't even see it, so you're going to want to really make sure that you get it off there. You're going to end up with bubbling, but when you get the layers off, you're going to have, it's going to be much more transparent. You see how you can kind of see my fingers back there? So that's where you want to get to. I have started this one for expediency, but just to give you a little bit of insight on this, I take my nail and rub the corner, and usually I can get it at least started. It's far away from me, so it's kind of hard to do that right now. But if you're having trouble, you could take a pin or a seam ripper or something, and I've seen people do this where they just kind of tear it, and then they can separate it out, or you can get under a layer sometimes, with your pin or seam ripper. And again, this is really far away from me, so I've gone ahead and started one just to save us time. So I'm going to take off the first layer in the back, and then I'm going to bring it back, and I'm going to take off the second layer, and then I'm left with the third layer. And because these are squares that I want to use, I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut squares. So there we go. I find that a round, a flat brush works best for me. This is a flat brush where it's just, like a paddle or wing, and I've used this one a lot. You can see it's separating. Because this is round, it just seems to get the edges better. So I am using wood circles. I get these on Amazon. They come in packs of 10, 20, 30. You pick out what size you want, and they're just slices of wood, has bark on it, plain wood. When I get them, I'm going to be honest, it's kind of a crapshoot. You end up with some really good ones, or you end up with some really bad ones. And I don't know how to tell you. I will put a couple of links that I've used. They're not affiliate links. They are just, some of the ones I've had good luck with. But I have had good luck with some vendors and then gotten a bad bunch. So you might want to buy, if you're in a hurry, buy 2 different kinds and send one back. check the return policy before you do that. But that might be the best way to do it. Otherwise, I don't know how to tell you. I've been stuck before because I've gotten them and I'm in a hurry. But anyway, this is one we're going to start with. And I just take a piece of paper towel or the napkin that I've pulled off, and I wipe it to make sure that you see the little bark pieces and all. I want to get that off so that I don't end up with it in my glue or under my picture and everything. So I'm just going to wipe down my paper in the background. I am using Mod Podge. You can take glue, white glue like Elmer's glue, and put it in a bowl and mix in about half water. Start with a quarter of water so that you're, 1 part, I say a quarter of a cup, that's not right. Use 1 part glue and 1/2 water, or 1 part glue and 1 part water. You're going to want to mix until you have a consistency that does pretty much like that. Can you see it? Bring it up. You see it dripping? So you don't want it to glop, but you want it to be able to kind of drizzle. You don't want it really thick. And if you're using Mod Podge, this is just matte Mod Podge, which you can do. But you want to probably put it in a little bowl. I've already contaminated this bottle, so it's kind of pointless, but you're going to want to put it in a, a little bowl, so you just use what you've got out. And I just go around my circle, and that's why I use a flat brush, because it's easier to get kind of around the circle. And these are really dry. I find that my glue kind of seeps in pretty quickly, so I have time to, get things arranged. But anyway, I do a good coating of glue. That might be a little bit thick, but it will give me a good hold once it gets on there. And I am going to take my picture, my napkin, the square that I've cut out. And as you can see, there's a piece of bark. I'm going to get the piece of bark out. As you can see, there is a hole at the top of the ornament. You can get them with or without holes. So if you want to do a magnet, you could get it without holes and put your magnet on the back. A lot of different ways to do that. And I'm going to line my hole up straight up and down so that I don't have this cockeyed. And you can kind of see your ornament in behind it. You can probably see that. And you want to aim for below your hole and to the center. If you want to center your image, you decide where you want to put it. And I try to pull my paper as straight as possible. If you have pockets behind it, you're going to have wrinkles, and this is not easy to do. Working so far away from me. Again, it is far away from me. Did you get that point? But I'm just kind of flattening it out and putting it where I want it and straightening it as best as I can. All right, and I'm going to get my brush because I don't want to tear my paper. And I'm putting glue on my brush, and I'm starting in the middle and I'm brushing out. So I'm going to try to pull the wrinkles out of it gently with my brush. And I've got glue on it because if I have a dry brush, it is going to stretch the paper and it probably will rip. So just a little hint from someone who has done that many, many times. And if you go over it too many times, you will go through the paper. It's just a napkin and it's a lot less ply. When you get a really wet napkin, how that does, or tissue, or paper towel is a little stronger. Not a good example. But anyway, so there you go. And you're going to try to work out your wrinkles as best you can without ripping it. If you have a little bit of wrinkles, that's okay. 1, it's natural. And 2, they're going to dry out to some extent. It will stretch a little bit when it dries. And so you're going to end up with this stuck down. You're going to let it dry for a few minutes. I put mine aside. And here is one that I stuck earlier. I want to separate the paper from around the ornament. So I just kind of tear it away. If you're uneasy about that, you can just take some scissors and bring it in and trim as close to the edge as you can. I should have mentioned, but before you trim, you're going to want to peel up your edges and be sure that you are adhered all the way, as far out as you want to be. If you are not adhered, you're going to, end up with this into the white if you don't want it into the white, or, you know, a problem. It'll be uneven or whatever. So just go around and make sure that you're adhered as far to the edge of the ornament as you want to be. You can always add glue a second time and wait, not a problem. So now that you're trimmed, you've got your ornament like this. I take a piece of sandpaper. I have a little sand block here. You can see I've worn it out. And I take my ornament and I'm going to go around the edges. And some people can't stand that noise, so I'm not going to do it. But you sand around until you get your ornament to, and this is one that I finished last night, to where, you know, as much of the white is off the bark as you want it to be, so that you're, you know, ready. Once it is like this, you're either finished, or if you want to add a glittery finish, you're going to bring your glue back out, and we're going to go around the ornament again with the glue. And this time I'm going to be a little less quick and careless because I want to have the glue inside the lines here. I don't really want it on the bark. And I'm just gonna make that even. And you see, you end up with some wrinkles. This one was not done really, really well because it was dark and I was tired. It was at night. But I'm putting glitter on it and you're really not gonna see it. So don't fret if you end up with imperfect. It's, you know, it happens. So anyway, there we are with that. I use clear glitter because you want to be able to see your image. There's some really good products out there. Glass glitter is really better than this stuff, but I was in a hurry and I ordered it on Amazon. If you catch a trend there, I'm always in a hurry. I've always got a few hundred things happening. But anyway, so that's what you're going to do. You're going to sprinkle it on and get it as covered as you want it to be. Less glue, less glitter, or more glue, more glitter, however you want it to be. Sometimes I kind of rub it a little bit and you know, remove what I can if I want to remove something. Let it dry. And when it is dry, you will end up with that. And I think that came out pretty. So you can share these with people. You can, you know, have them on your family tree. You can hang them on the wall. You can do lots of different things. So I hope that was a fun project. If you don't want to do these, I have them in my shop. I have hedgehogs, I have mushrooms and birds and lots of different color birds. So take a look. My link is in the comments. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.